Hello team, happy Tuesday. How are you guys? I am going live today because I have a activity going on tonight with my Girl Scouts and I will not be able to do the team call. So I thought I would still go live, and I've been meaning to record this training anyway because when we did it on our call a few weeks ago, I wasn't able to record it. So I thought, you know what? It's a win-win. So, as you guys saw, it's called Small Tasks Equals Big Ripples. And so I want you guys to imagine like when you are standing by a lake, right? And you just throw that stone, how one little stone, like if you throw a big stone, right? It's going to make like a little splash. It's going to make like obviously it's going to create something in the water. But it's not going to have that skipping and ripple effect as if you get like the perfect little stone that is meant to do that job. So I want to share small tasks to equal big ripples in your business. And I want to start out by saying that the first thing that we need to do when we're doing this is we need to set a realistic schedule. We need to be able to look at our lives and say, when can I fit Scentsy in? Right? Because Scentsy does have to be fit in. Scentsy cannot just be like, oh, today I have time to do Scentsy. If that were to be the case, we would never get anything done because we're always busy, right? Can you do me a favor and turn off the kitchen light? It's like a weird like light in my background. Thank you, baby. So we have to set a realistic schedule. We have to be able to look at our life, our circumstances, and be able to say, when can I fit Scentsy in, right? Can I fit it in the morning, in the evening, at lunchtime? Do I have multiple different breaks throughout the day that I can do a couple of things here and there? Can I work it on the weekends, on my days off, etc., right? So we figure out our committed schedule: work, volunteer commitments, kids' practices, kids' school activities, kids' appointments, our appointments, etc., right? And then we decide how we're going to schedule it in to then be able to break down what we're doing in those times. And I wanted to show you a couple of different things that I use when I'm planning my schedule. I am a paper and pen gal. I love planners. This is my brand new planner that I just got. That's going to be from July to December of 2025. I love being able to plan out, like seeing my month and being able to plan out my month and then being able to plan out weekly things that I'm going to do. So like I like having both things accessible. If you are an electronics tech savvy gal or pal, like, and that's how you prefer it, you prefer like an online calendar, do it that way. Color code it however you want, however you need to be able to do that. This is another thing I use. I have it right now printed out in an 8x11 because that's the size of planner that I had. I'm going to have to resize this, and I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to figure it out. But this has my weekly broken down by hour. So a friend of mine made this. She shared it with me. She shared it in a picture. That's why I don't know how I'm going to resize it, but whatever. We're going to figure it out. But she does 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. because that's her schedule. I would change this usually from 6 to 10. But it has time blocks. So like this would help me to be able to block out my job because that time I'm working, right? But then I can add things here and there, like when I have my Girl Scout meeting, when we have an event, when I have a kid's appointment, etc. But then I would be able to kind of like see the blocks of times that I did have available for Scentsy. Okay. So maybe you create a time block for your day. Okay. And then lastly, this is something that we just bought, but we've had these before. We put this in our fridge. I literally glued magnets to it. Monday through Friday, to-do list, habit creator. It has priorities. Literally, we're going to use this in our house for like our menu and then like chores and stuff like that. But you can have something like this taped on your fridge or somewhere where you're going to see it quite often so that you can write down things that you need to do. Like maybe you just write a to-do list. What do I got to do for Scentsy this week? How am I going to fit it in? And then maybe you are able to say, okay, Monday I'm off, so I'm going to go ahead and like put Scentsy work Scentsy from 9 to 12. And then I'm going to try to get as much things as I can done and then kind of pencil in the rest throughout the week. So that's another option. Okay. Now, you have to be strategic when you're planning, right? You plan your tasks around where you're going to be, right? So if you're going to be at the soccer field because your child has practice, you can't make samples during that time, but you can make follow-up calls, or you can send out you can schedule your posts for Facebook. So if you're very, very overflowing with commitments, okay, where am I going to be that maybe I can be flexible? You know, my kid's going to be practicing. I'm just going to be sitting there reading a book. Maybe one of those nights I take and I work on my Scentsy business and I schedule my post. I contact 5 people to host a party. I follow up with my customers, etc., etc. And then there are other 4 days you can watch some practice. Like, right? It's a little bit of sacrifice, a little bit of balance, a little bit of every little thing that you can do to make this work. I hear it all the time. Oh, but I'm so busy, but I'm so busy, but I'm so busy. Sweethearts, honey bears, everyone is busy. I'm busy. Your director is busy. Your leader is busy. Your neighbor is busy. Everyone is busy in their own things. I remember a few years back, I was talking with Rachel, and we were on just talking on the phone, and she was saying that somebody on her team at the time was telling her how busy they were. And they're like, it must be easy, like when Liz is a stay-at-home mom, to be able to do all this. She used to talk to me every day. So she was like, yeah, she's busy. She has 2 kids under the age of 3. Like, she is busy. And I had tons of doctor's appointments at the time. I worked from wherever I could work, okay? I remember that time frame when she was telling me that. My kids had appointments at All Children's Hospital, and each of them had an appointment like every other week. So like I literally was driving to St. Pete once a week for a different type of doctor with 2 kids in Stowe and no help because my husband had to work. My mom worked. My sister was in school. I didn't have no help. And so I would bag up the kids and I would bag up stuff in my purse with Scentsy catalogs, samples, all the things. And I was working while I was out there with my kids. Okay. I did events with my baby in the carrier. My husband would come out so I could go nurse and not have to do it in the canopy. Because trust me, I probably would have done it in the canopy. Like, I needed Scentsy to work. And so I made sacrifices for it to work. Okay. And sometimes we just have to do that. Sometimes we have to find out, how can I make this work with how busy I am? Because if we want something to change, we need to be the change. Okay, we need to be that. We need to put those small tasks. And that's when I'm saying be the change, I'm not saying uproot everything, throw everything out the window. It's putting those small tasks that we're talking about into practice. Okay. Can you do a coaching call for your downline on your drive home? Do you have a commute to and from work that you can maybe use that as part of your Scentsy business? Maybe you make your samples while you're cooking and while you're watching TV. I've done that. I have literally put wax to melt while I'm making dinner, and then as I'm waiting for things to like boil or fry or whatever, I'm taking those felt pieces out and putting them on my parchment paper, and then later on that night, I am bagging those things up or putting one of my kids to bag them up. How can you fit those things in? Okay. So at Leadership last year, Jason Harwood gave us some advice, and I brought my little paper, my little notebook from Leadership because I didn't want to have to write it down. The focus last year was, how can I make my business successful with only the necessary things? And so the first thing that he told us was do not do more than it's necessary. Keep it simple. Simplicity is one of our core values. And I think that is what has helped so many people be successful in this business, because they have kept it simple and duplicatable. And so then they don't end up wearing themselves out. Do not do more than is necessary to work your business. Okay. Identify those core principles and do less. Focus on the meat and potatoes of your business, and then all that extra fluff, leave it for when we do have that extra time. Maybe you had an extra day off of work, or maybe this week it was a really easy week and you have some extra energy to do that fluff stuff. Maybe you partner up with your team and you make things in bulk, make samples in bulk. We used to do this a couple years ago, and it was so nice to be able to just sit there with our friends, chit-chatting, having a good time, making samples after samples after sample after sample. And then we had all the samples for months. We had samples. We had counter cleans. We have all the scents. We had all-purpose cleaner samples. We had Scentsy Fresh samples. We had so many different samples that we could sample out because we had just sat there and made them in bulk. So maybe you plan something like that, where you can get together with some friends and make samples. Or if you don't have a team yet, do it with your kids. Partner up with Scentsy people that are close to you. Make friends. This is the beautiful thing about the Scentsy world, is the community. And maybe you don't have a team where you are at, or maybe you haven't built your team yet, but you can meet up with other consultants and meet them and create friendships and be able to do samples with them or activities with them that will help you get motivated. Focus on the income producing activities, the IPAs. You guys will hear me say that time and time again. When we are working this business, we see a lot of ideas that are amazing. Amazing. We have some really talented consultants out there. But it can distract us. It can be that shiny, big rock that you were like, oh, I'm going to pick this up because it's so beautiful, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw it. And then it just goes plunk in the water. And it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. I'm so sorry. I had like something like that was bugging my gum up here. It does nothing because we don't have the time and to put the effort that it requires for that big stone to make that ripple, right? Because we're going to need to do more follow-ups, so we're going to need to do it over and over again. Small tasks. Focus on those small tasks. Keep it simple and duplicatable, right? As we are growing a team, we want our team to be able to do the same thing that we're doing. So we want to be able to have it be easy for someone that is brand new and being able to come in. And then lastly, he said, what can you let go of? What are you doing in your business right now that you don't need to do, that you can let go of and simplify your business so you don't reach the burnout? Okay. One of the leaders that he brought up at that leadership meeting, her name is Tracy DeMario. She shared a couple of tips that really stuck out to me, and I was like, why am I not doing this yet? First of all, she plans simple, quick daily tasks. Plan simple, quick daily tasks. What can I do every single day, or that is going to take me 10, 15 minutes a day to get done, right? Obviously, if you are shooting for a goal or a leadership or anything like that, you want to check your numbers. So check your workstation. It takes 2 seconds to go into workstation and look at your PRV, your team's wholesale volume, and who's active, right? And if you need help with that, let me know and I will likely help you. I was like, who did a like? And it's because me and my thumbs. Like so many wonderful things now with the technology. She uses the planning ahead document, right? We get that at the beginning of the month. It tells us when everything is coming out. She puts everything on her calendar. So she knows when she is going to be promoting those things. I know sometimes it's hard to focus on the catalog when we have so many LTOs and so many collections coming out, but guess what? You get to choose what you focus on. So if you want to focus on the catalog and not so much the LTOs, then focus on the catalog. When am I going to share XYZ warmers? When am I going to share this scent? When am I going to share, whatever it is that I want to share from the catalog? Put that on your schedule, right? Put that on your Wax Warmer Wednesday, Travel Tuesday, Scentsy Clean Saturday, whatever, right? So that way you know what you're posting and what you're sharing. But maybe it's must-have Mondays and you share the top 10 items, which I know I have not been sharing. I will try to get back on track with that as soon as possible. Then you plan weekly tasks. What are some things that I need to do weekly? Maybe once a week, twice a week, depending on what it is. Maybe you schedule your follow-ups I'm going to follow up with 5-10 customers on a weekly basis. On follow-up Fridays. Fridays, I'm going to follow up with my customers. And I'm just going to do 5. I'm going to text 5 people. I'm going to call 5 people. I'm going to email 5 people, however you decide you want to communicate with your customers. And then plan your monthly tasks, right? You want to, what are things that I can do monthly? Maybe shout out my team. Give a shout out to my top customer from last month. Do a monthly drawing. Anything you want to do monthly, right? Schedule that in. Put that on your planner or on your calendar, or electronic calendar. I tell you guys, I have an electronic calendar that we share at work. I hate that thing. I have a love-hate relationship with that thing. It is easy peasy to put things in there, but it is so hard for me to keep track in my mind of what I have going on if I'm not next to my computer or I have my work phone. So like, I applaud everyone that can have everything digital, because I'm like, I love how easy it is to go put something in there. But for me, it's so hard to track. But again, small, simple tasks. You don't have to work your business 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day. You don't. Scentsy does not require that. Scentsy is amazing at being able to be flexible and being able to work it on your own schedule, but you have to schedule it in. You have to plan for it. Because if you're just leaving Scentsy for whenever you have time, you're never going to have time. You're never going to have time. I can tell you that there are things in my life that I've been like, oh, like whenever I have time, I'll get around to this. It never gets done. Because the truth is that we are busy. And when we're not busy, we're making ourselves busy. We're finding something that we need to do that's on our to-do list that we haven't done yet, that we haven't finished, or maybe enjoying finally something that we haven't been able to do, like reading a book. And we forget about that one thing. But when you put in small tasks that are not going to burn you out, that are not going to overwhelm you, but are tasks that need to get done to grow your business, you are going to see a change in your business. Now, I will tell you this. When you go to the gym and you start working out for that fabulous body that, you know, like the little muffin top that you want to lose, that's me right here, me wanting to lose that. You go to the gym once or twice, you go for a week, you're not going to see a difference. Okay? You have to give this time. You need to sit down with yourself, and I'm going to be honest, sit down with yourself for at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes to figure this out. How am I going to put this in, right? Because if you sit down for 10 minutes, you're just going to plan out this week and that's going to be it. And then next week, you're going to have to be like, oh, what am I doing again? Sit down for 30, 45 minutes. Give that to yourself. Sit down with a business partner, a friend that does Scentsy, an accountability partner, someone that's going to hold you accountable. And if you have no one, call me up. Call me up and I will help you. Sit down. Figure out what it is that you want to focus on in your business to help you grow. Create a schedule for it with your schedule in mind. When do you work? When do your kids have commitments? When do you have commitments? When do you have date night? When do you have church? Etc., etc. Fit Scentsy into those things. And some things might change, right? Because if you usually have Mondays off, but this Monday you have an eye appointment, you might not be working Scentsy at that same time, but next Monday you'll be back on track, right? You might have to shift sometimes, but at least you have an idea, okay? Put those small tasks into place and go work your business. Go work your business, and you will give it time to see it grow, okay? The stone that you throw in the water today for your business, you're probably not going to see that ripple and full effect until about 90 days. So, with that said, I invite you guys to do all this that I've mentioned. And I invite you guys to share that with your sponsor or with me or with someone that's going to hold you accountable, and go make ripples that are going to be big waves in your business pretty soon. Bye. Love you guys.